All right, welcome back, guys, to the Slice and Dice podcast. It's episode 10 with me, Sam.
Me, Phil.
And me, Jono.
Hey,
Look, Mum, we're in double digits.
Hey.
We've got this far.
I was gonna say, I think I was worried at the end of episode 1, but we're fine.
Yeah,
know.
we're sailing. We're just smooth
Doing
sailing.
all right, yeah.
I think we're in. Yeah.
Yeah?
This is a
Sailing on damage 6.
Yeah. We're here for the crack.
Yeah, only the 7th damage matters.
Yeah.
We're a controlled deck of a podcast.
I feel like that's a really good name for another podcast. Only damage 7 matters.
Yeah.
Like, that'd be pretty good.
Yeah.
Talk about game plan.
So we're at the tail end of the competitive season in terms of it's Euros and Worlds, basically, to come. Obviously, the LCQ rolled in with you.
What about America? Have we got things going on around the rest of the globe, or are we just focusing insular on Europe?
We're pretty European, aren't we?
Well, we are. Yeah. I know there's other things going on.
In
around.
true Brexit fashion, only our events matter.
Never mind that it's a Japanese game.
Yeah. No, Kageyama came to us for Winter Cup.
Oh.
Yeah, no.
I think.
We've struck a great trade deal with Hobby Japan exclusively. Brexit was good. Anyway, moving along. So, I think we've got this big gap now till Euros, haven't we? What's that, a month and a half?
Yeah, about a month.
Yeah, and it's just without too much to focus on. If you're not part of Euros, it's just carrying on with trialing different ideas, right?
But you know who's a part of Euros though? Kinney.
Yay! Let's fucking
Kinney
go!
Kinney boy.
Our guy, our local that travels how long? 2 hours or something?
Yeah, like he travels from Peterborough, so it's about like probably 2 hours plus.
Without a car,
overall.
so it's down to public transport, which is ridiculous. Who does that?
And Sam and I are now like shared parents. We have like shared custody of Kinney.
Yeah. Once a month.
Once a month.
We're not very good dads.
Oh my god, you forgot to take him home.
Yeah, I just left him at locals, and then he was getting these calls like, "You've abandoned me."
Is that what actually happened?
Yes.
I wasn't there for that.
Oh, I had a nightmare of a night.
You had to do 2 round trips.
So I had Alfie with me. I was like, I'll leave Alfie a lift.
So, like,
I forgot about Kinney.
I'm cleaning up the store, and like I notice that Sam's like gone. And I think, maybe Sam's like gone outside and is waiting or whatever. Fine. And then I get outside the store and Sam's not there, and I'm like, Kinney, Sam's gone home without you. He's forgotten that like he's giving you somewhere to stay. And he's like, oh, okay. And we walk from like Dice all the way down to Taco Bell, and he decides to start ringing Sam, and then he's got this look on his face whilst he's ringing Sam, like, "You've forgotten something, buddy. You forgot him." And he's like, "No, what are you sorry about? It's fine."
It's all right. You'll find a tree to sleep.
Oh yeah,
in.
he was totally cool with it. He wasn't screaming.
Yeah,
It's fine.
I can imagine him going, it's fine. I'll find a doormat somewhere or something. Just
Poor guy. You don't want to be rough sleeping in Nottingham.
No, you don't.
It's not the place.
No.
But yeah, I drove back and got him. It was fine, and then I started giving Alfie a lift home and put the wrong address in the sat nav.
Were you overly bowing to him? Go, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Genuinely, I was just letting everyone down. It was crazy.
What a night.
Yeah.
I suppose it's never as bad as actual Kinney's luck with public transport and trains, though.
Yeah.
He's got some pretty shit luck when it comes to transport.
The karma has to rebalance from all those good EXs he hits. Right?
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, but Kinney made Euros. What was the event? He just won Materia Cup
London.
He was second.
No, see, he was second.
Yeah.
He lost to Zav, who was on mono water. But fucking hell, man! And that's like the 3rd top he's had. Derby. Then and he
topped at Huddersfield,
and he's topped at Huddersfield as well. He came top cut at Huddersfield, so yes, his 3rd top and made
4-wall's
Euros.
still good, yeah. And like I think he's probably one of the best players around on 4-wall.
4-wall has the highest conversion rate in America. It's 66%.
Wow,
conversion rate in America.
4 King Hell.
Ooh, good stats.
Yeah,
that's what he called the name.
Yeah, 4 King Hell. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So yeah, that was the we're looking forward to Euros coming up, and Kinney is someone that is bothered.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
but otherwise, the format's sort of starting and developing, and I guess we were going into kind of we've skipped the how are yous, but I think we're fine.
Yeah.
I think people have maybe noticed like 5 minutes
The
in
energy.
the
The energy is fine.
I've had some rum and Sam's had a Snickers. So we
Don't want to give me a Snickers.
Oh, there was an old commercial about Snickers about giving you energy, wasn't there? I don't know if it's still a thing.
I'm still
Do
thinking.
you remember the commercial? I can't remember the commercial.
You're
Get
not
some
you're
nuts.
not you when
You're not you
hungry. Yeah,
You're not you when you're hungry. Yeah.
Get some nuts.
Yeah,
Something
that's
along
the
those
one.
lines.
yeah.
But yeah, going on more on topic, I guess, in this format, like everyone was like, oh my god, Witch of the Fens, or as French is calling her, Bitch of the Fens. And then we've got Hitler Deus and Chaos and other stuff and that people have been like scared of or hyped about. So I guess, like, Sam, how's this format been like for you? Like, what are you playing, or what were you scared of, and what thoughts have changed? That kind of stuff.
So Opus 23, this London event's been the only Opus 23 event I've played, obviously. But like everyone was very high, especially in our Knots chat. Everyone was going crazy about Hitler Deus and Chaos, like really like, whoa, turn 2 kills, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I tested Chaos briefly. It seemed really janky and like obviously it's not very fun, like the limited decisions and stuff.
Yeah.
Then Hitler Deus, my only experience against it was best of 3 with Sean. I went 2-1 against it, but I have Amat in my deck, so I don't know. It was still early on it, so maybe it's a bit stronger than that, like maybe and you couldn't, three games isn't a big sample size, but yeah, I think those 2 decks, they were like the boogeyman that just hasn't appeared. Like none of those decks have made a top cut anywhere I've seen, like Chaos or Hitler Deus.
No.
So I remain unconvinced. I know some people would disagree.
Yeah, I think I am doubtful. There's been all talk about it, and I've just sat back and just gone, well, we'll see what happens, because
exactly.
Nothing actually has proven anything yet. I mean, I know there was I remember watching a game in one of the Materia Cups in America.
Yeah.
Can't remember which one. It happened on the same weekend that we were doing Huddersfield.
Yeah.
And there was a Chaos deck in that. And it got to like top 4 or something like that. I think it was top 4 or top 8. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Which was the Turbo Chaos.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I could see that was doing fairly well, but then it was very fresh as well. So I don't know. Like it's another one of those Ooga Booga angry decks, which
You've got like 5 of those now in the meta, haven't you?
I know, yeah.
Like that are at least tier 2. Like what is it? Chaos, Hitler Deus, Knights, Kirin deck.
Yeah.
That's 4.
Yeah. I mean,
Anything else that's like turn 3 kill kind of deck?
Can't really think of anything off the top of my head. If there is, it's Rogue.
4 turbo aggro decks,
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those another one of those things that, like, you've got people like Lyndon who's working within a shell of, when I say shell, that's not supposed to be derogatory, but in his little bubble of testing online and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it as much as the idea of throwing out loads and loads and loads of forwards and then hastening them with Illawa, with Hiflo, it just felt like there's got to be a way of interrupting this at some point and shutting this down, because I mean, it just seemed a bit too easy, you know what I mean? And I don't think any game of FFTCG should feel too easy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? 'Cause
I think when it was released, we were saying like, oh, we'll trust Hobby Japan to play test these things. Like they've only got a small handful of bans, so they're probably one of the better design teams in a TCG. So yeah, we kind of assume that it's not just going to create this crazy tier 1 meta that's some people's hype sort of like we're giving the impression of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like Lyndon's very good at knowing if something's worth labbing to its full potential. He
Such
knows
a
the
cool
scope
deck
of a meta. Such a cool builder. But Lyndon is Crystal Point on FFX. If people don't know, because he was shouted out recently, he doesn't mind being mentioned.
Cool deck builder, really fun.
Yeah, he is good at
Like comes out with like these left field decks that are like way stronger than you expect them to be.
comboing cards that have been probably left in most people's binders. You know what I mean? Like they don't actually see sleeves for most people's decks, but he will find a need and a way.
And he has like alternate formats coming out of every orifice. You ask him for a fun side event, Lyndon knows. But I feel like all the decks that Sam mentioned, like those 4+ however many there are, like aggro decks, it's all about the coin flip nature of if they win.
Absolutely.
If they, all of them are just coin flip nature. So I don't. Then it's I think what makes a great. Let's say makes a great coin flip deck, but what makes it that kind of aggro deck is just how consistent is it. And it's the same with Kieran, it's the same with Hythlodaeus. It's a case of does it see it or does it not? If it doesn't see it, it probably loses. It probably loses. And if it does see it, it's more a matchup problem. It's more a matchup issue. Like going up against Warriors, for example, do they have Amat? Do they have route to Amat kind of thing? Do they have route to a cost-effective board wipe that doesn't cuck their own resources? So you can just push back. Yeah. But if it wins in one turn, it wins in one turn. It's like every other deck of that nature. So it's become not a problem because it's just like every other. Yeah. It just puts out a scarier board.
That's it. You don't want to take a deck to a tournament that is literally a coin flip. Like, if you actually want to win, if you're actually really, really competitive, even if, it's a 60-40 coin flip, you're still not going to win a tournament on a 60-40.
Yeah, exactly.
You need better than that.
But it will take time to develop because, for example, Kirin has been developed for quite a number of years. Sean's been labbing that, as have many other people around the world probably been labbing that for years. So Hythlodaeus will take a while to truly come to fruition, to get built properly, and maybe it needs a few more, not cards to support Hythlodaeus, but just better targets to make it more. Because who knows?
It's a fun project because it can consider a lot of cards.
Yeah, exactly.
You might see another Emmet Selch at some point. Selk.
Yeah.
Sorry, I said it and I was like, no, that's wrong.
Yeah.
I really like this Emmet Selk because it can also just go in a normal Earth deck and
goes
really powerful. Like just getting that Minfilia and doing an 8k for playing a pseudo 2-cost backup.
Yeah,
it's tasty.
Emmet Selk is just a good card, a good addition, I think, generally. But
absolutely.
Witch of the Fens is definitely more of a. I think Witch of the Fens is the Warriors of this setting, if you know what I mean. It's a card that is now everyone is playing it and everyone is going on monsters. It's the most median. Yeah. Like you walk in a room, it is the median of decks that are being played.
She's the real boogeyman. Her bite's as bad as her bark.
I think so. But I've trialed it myself and I've tried playing it, and it's knowing when to crack a monster that's valuable to you at certain points. It's just, it's those knowing, like if you know that you're playing against Witch of the Fens, you've got to evaluate the monsters that your opponent has to know whether they are actually they want to sack them for game.
And I like cards like that where you create a puzzle, like a decision chain where it matters what decisions you make.
Yeah.
I like games with a bunch of decisions that matter,
Yeah. The thing I like about Witch of the Fens is, like, as a problem card, take any deck that plays monsters, and without Witch of the Fens on the board, it's like a really mid board. Like, normally it's like, I've got to remove Realm or Gao, and I feel safe now. Witch of the Fens makes those boards, like, terrifying the moment she's put down, and you're like, holy fuck. Like, the test games that we had, where it was Ice Lightning versus Water Lightning Witch of the Fens with crystals and stuff. Like, every time Witch of the Fens was put on board, it was Sam and I were having to discuss the ruling. Like, every time I was going, how do I resolve this so that she dies at the right point? And every time she's had, like, 2 or 3 interactions and she drew. Like, so she's just an immediate scary card. It's a bit like Queen for Cadets. Queen, like you can build a Cadets board and be like, like, cool. The moment Queen comes on board, that board's fine. Like, it's like great.
Scary. Is that the new Queen?
New Queen, yeah.
So I've not actually seen it.
Yeah, this is what, when you played against Cadets, like, this week, I think.
Yeah.
And you and I spoke about it. Last week, and Mike's been loving his Cadets, like the meme at the moment. It went like 7-0, and then he took it to 2-deck format.
Surprisingly strong, but then it flopped at 2-deck, didn't it?
Yeah, but Queen literally protects the board by just buffing it. Or is it? Yeah, it's buffing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So Queen, you can have a Cadets board that could be killed by Ward, could be killed by X, Y, and Z. And the moment Queen is on board, she can just use your break zone as a resource to buff that board up in any situation on the stack. So Queen is one of those cards that makes the board scary.
So I need to reread it because it was never one that actually drew my attention, despite the fact I got a full art. I was like, I'm not really.
It's like remove X cards from break zone, and it's not even remove cadets. I don't think it's remove. Yeah, it's like remove cards from break zone, choose cadet, make it more powerful. Like that's it.
Like buff it.
So as long as you have a loaded break zone, you're fine.
So is it basically a Galoof effect in a way, but on just cadets? So remove 3 cards from break zone.
Yeah,
4 cards I think it is.
Yeah.
And it has like the I think this is what you were saying, Sam. It has cadets that has one of the deepest digs I've seen. Like excavate 7.
Yeah.
Look at the top 7.
Man,
it color corrects itself like no one's business. So but that's kind of the card that Witcher Defends is. It just takes a non-threatening board to holy fuck, I have to put all my resources in.
Yeah.
So I think, like you said, Witcher Defends is the true boogeyman of this set. I think
because it just turns mono water into like this. It just pushes it. Mono water's always been just there, and then having this really strong card go into it supernaturally is like, okay, mono water's there now.
I mean, given that mono water won Materia Cup UK and won Materia Cup Netherlands just gone today.
Yeah.
Like, well, Steve won it. It was a 2-deck format. But
yeah.
Was it the Netherlands one? I thought it was somewhere elsewhere. Was it? Oh no, it was probably Netherlands.
It was the 2-deck
Steve
format.
just won.
Yeah. So we'll talk
Shout
about
out Steve.
Yeah, well, I'll do that now because Steve won just because I had it on hand, and so we don't come back to it later. Steve today, well done, Steve D of the YYT for winning.
Let's go.
The Netherlands Materia Cup, if it was the Materia Cup, which we're all kind of going, was it? But I asked Steve if he wanted me to say anything on the back of his thing, and he said, "Shout out to 2-deck format, best way to play the game. More decks equals more skill expression."
Yeah.
Don't debate that.
Yeah.
And he said, also, play with a clock more. If you're regularly going to time, drink either more or less wine. And I feel like there's a story there. If Steve would ever like to tell us about why you need to drink more or less wine when going to time. And then he couldn't have done it without the help and encouragement of the people in the YYT Facebook chat and
That's
probably
nice.
other people he knows. So congrats, Steve. Well deserved.
Congrats.
As well, Sarah bloody testing with him for like a solid week, like mental.
Yeah.
He won on mono earth and mono water. Like two things we've said that Sam said, like Boogeyman which defends and Emmett Selk being a generally nice man put in a deck.
Nice man in quotations.
Yeah. So congrats to Steve.
Yeah, mate. Such a good ambassador, deserves it. We love that.
Yeah, so because he won the 2-deck format, and we actually did a 2-deck format at locals recently, didn't we? Which I guess is
That was fun.
Yeah, because we all played with the idea of running a 2-deck format. French came up with the idea, and we thought, we have never tried it at locals before, and there's so many events, big events that use 2-deck format that it'd be good to have some sort of practice around 2 decks, I suppose.
Yeah.
And so I think it was genuinely a success.
Yeah.
Though we were super struggling for time because we had to, even though we had like 14 players, was it or something like that? We had to limit it to 3 rounds.
Yeah.
12 players. Yeah.
12 players, but had to limit it to like 3 rounds because of time and the store closing. So it was a bit awkward, but we managed it just for the hell of fun. You know? And it definitely shows, like Steve just mentioned, a skill thing. Like you can. Yeah. There's so many ways of like if you've lost one game and it's still in a best of 3, if you've lost one game and you can turn it around with the next deck, it's about choices and about making those correct decisions and stuff like that. It's good fun.
Yeah,
I actually enjoyed it.
It's interesting. Yeah, because they say
never done it. So
they say you're supposed to take an aggro deck and a control deck to 2-deck format. But Steve was just on mono water and mono earth, right? Just take two good control decks instead.
Yeah. But what did you guys take to? Because I didn't play the 2-deck format, spoiler alert, because I was going to take just my decks I've been playing for this format, which are Water, Fire, Warriors. The only adjustment I had to make for 2-deck format was removing the ISLB cards. That's the only thing I had to adjust. The rest of the list was standard otherwise. Running Parai to get Mooty back up. And then my alternate FFL target ended up being the Opus 20 Morrow X-Burst. My other deck was just a standard Ice Lightning list that Paul O'Mahony from YYT has been sort of like, I've been nagging him to say, have you updated your list yet? And he's helped me with that.
Nice.
But I ended up not playing because some new players turned up and it would have been an odd number. So
Yeah, and you TO'd for us like a hero.
yeah,
Appreciate that a
TO'd.
lot.
You got out the Karen TO who's like, it is time! Time on the round! Turn 0! It's my TO style. So.
I love it. One day you're just gonna like disqualify someone from locals or something.
Yeah, I mean, I'll disqualify Sean when I give him another signature card in his opening pack.
Oh,
that
fuck's
was
sake,
gross. That ruined
What?
everyone's mood. Just to start the tournament off.
Really happy for Sean, of course, but
Yeah.
pulling a signature lightning was like, wow.
That was surprising.
I would be. I know this is no necessarily like thing to hide from, but like I would have been super happy if it was someone else. I know that sounds so bad, but like because I know that Sean, it's good for him to like get all these things. He spends a lot of money on the game, and he does help
true.
the game. So yeah, no, it's warranted to a person.
Swings and roundabouts, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Jono, what did you take to 2-deck format? What were your 2 decks?
So I was basically kind of going the same line as yourself with Warriors. So I had Firewater Warriors, very much the standard, probably updated build that is probably been seen already.
You're running Parai with Muti and Dusk.
Not Dusk.
What were you running instead of
I
Dusk?
put Mist in, which I thought was
yeah.
fun. I didn't necessarily see, like, if I had Dusk in hand, I probably would have just discarded it for CP, but with Mist, it's a 0 cost warp, so it's a free card, effectively. Unfortunately, the 4 warps, the warp 4 never actually resolved to play onto the field, because the game's finished by those turn 4s, 4 turns. But it did actually give me a little bit of a sort of like a deck, because obviously with Mist, it's when you warp, take a warp counter off, you look at the top card of deck and you choose to put it in the break zone or not.
Yeah.
And it kind of gave me that sort of filtering effect of looking at whether I wanted to keep that as a top card, whether I draw it or whether I take damage, whether it's an EX, that sort of thing. Those choices were what I was looking for.
Yeah, concentrates your gas a little bit. So I can definitely see an argument for that.
And also, like, if I wanted to put it into the break zone, I can use it to, because I'm playing the new Terra. So I think people have seen that Terra going into making Phoenix cost 2 less to them cost.
Phoenix is so good with that Terra.
And then playing Zidane. So if I look at my top card and it's Zidane or Phoenix, and I know one or other is in the break zone, I know that I've set that sort of play up already. And it's that sort of filtering thing that I was intrigued in more than necessarily just playing another card from hand with Dusk. And as much as it was, it didn't necessarily do everything that I wanted, but then I think the game was moving. Most of our games were moving too fast for.
You got to
those.
test.
It's fun. It's fun.
Yeah.
And then
the other deck.
The other deck was Icewind Storm with the new Shantato in. So it was Splash Earth. So mostly, the standard sort of Sid Hayes and Lock plays, but the fact that you've got the new Dr. Mog that searches you out, your Moogles, that you can find you the colour fixing Moogle that's Wind, which colour fixes for Earth. That's perfect for playing into Shantoto. And Shantoto, if no one knows, is basically this new rare forward that basically removes 2 summons from your break zone from the game, and then you're able to play them at any point in the game. It was like, it's not even that turn. During the game,
pretty powerful.
It's pretty good, and that helps so many storm turns, because you get the 2 targets that you want back are really much Asura to reactivate, or get Luso back to hand to make your Luso plays more powerful, and then obviously Chocobo, Hero Chocobo, that just makes your turns and your casts so much more frequent and consistent. It worked so much. I stormed like crazy. I was on possible cast 12 at some point just because you know what I mean. And that Shantoto really helped towards that, and I actually enjoyed playing it a lot more than I had done in the past, because I think hand jank was very much noticed playing just straight Icewind back in the day.
Yeah.
Or when I used to play it anyway. It's just reinvigorated my
That's great.
love for Storm, I think.
I feel like if you keep doing reps on that deck, it's going to make your general gameplay so good because your lines of play have to be so thought out.
Absolutely. I think it was back in Opus 19 when Sid Hayes was spoiled, and that was when I started going, I need a new format, or not a format, new archetype to play.
Yeah.
And Icewind just seemed to be the way I wanted to try, and I think everyone else obviously was on the same vein, but I've always stuck with Icewind since because I just enjoyed the nuances of Icewind rather than Monowind.
Yeah.
I know that Monowind's much more consistent and much more powerful than I think Icewind is. It's definitely something that I will actually look into and see if I want to play Monowind with the new Shantoto.
I wonder if people do consider Monowind better still because lock can target monsters, right?
Lock can target monsters, yeah.
And,
that's one thing.
And there's more freezing. You can attack someone's backups more with that.
You can lock people out of certain CP costs, or even just lock out them from certain plays that they possibly had in the...
Yeah. But this general Luso storming is a bit more consistent on me.
Then again, none of us are Alex Hancock, so it's hard to test who is better with Monowind or...
but having these same conversations with Dan, who came down, which was really nice. We actually had Johnny Hayes brought down Nick Pound and Dan ST. I've got him.
Yeah, because I remember ST.
Dan ST.
Yeah, shout out to those boys.
I'm forgetting his surname, but yeah, no, it was really really nice to have those guys because they obviously have gone out their way to come down, which was lovely.
Yeah.
But Dan is the Storm, he's a Storm guy. He really enjoys Storm, and he brought that Monowind version with Shantoto. So I was having conversations about that.
Might have been our enhanced prizing drawing them in.
Maybe.
Shout out to
enhanced prizing.
Shout out to our monthly Wednesdays. We've got some additional prizing. It's 2 packs for entry at the moment.
That was pretty
good for £6.
That was pretty.
If you want to come to Nottingham.
Yeah. I mean, we've definitely been spoiled.
Yeah, and then it's a 3rd pack for the price support, which is pretty stonks. But yeah, it's nice that those guys are coming down. We've now got 3 from the Leeds contingent coming down. That once a month really helps. So
I think so. Yeah,
kind of glad, and it'll be normal Swiss this month. I think from what people have said they want. So yeah, if you're in the UK, Nottingham, we do a once a month Swiss on a Wednesday. But yeah.
At the end of the month. Sam, what did
you play?
What did you go on?
So I went with... I took Warriors to London. My specific Earth, Fire, Splash, Water one.
Yes.
So I was getting a bit bored of Warriors, so wanted to play something different. So I went Ice, Lightning, Witch of the Fens. I could have gone Mono, Water, Witch of the Fens. It was built up for London, so it would have been less effort. But I didn't want to... I wanted to do something a bit more creative. So
Ice Lightning? I mean the water lightning.
Sorry, Water Lightning. Sorry, my bad.
So
with crystals. So
yes,
Young
Examil, Lady Lilith, and obviously Realm. Realm bring in Melusine, Lady Lilith, eat up whatever we steal from our opponent, and then also Witch of the Fens can sack off Moth Slashers that just come in and replace themselves for free. So if you do it in your opponent's turn, you don't even lose any tempo of swings. So I thought this is a weird little tempo deck with a new piece and some cute combos that a little bit off meta. So I was like, I'm into that. And then I just built Mono Fire just to have something different that I've not played for a while.
With Tivus and Warriors though, wasn't it?
Yeah, I did stick Tivus in there. It's just the strong thing Mono Fire can do outside of its removal. Right?
Mono Fire pretty much runs Tivus now. I think it's Tivus and Firion are the main things it runs. It doesn't run Axstar, but...
Did you have Axstar in yours?
I had one.
I had one.
Yeah, I think if I've seen it ran, it's 1 or 2, but it's not
You don't want, because a lot of the time you don't want to freeze stuff.
Yeah, exactly. There's too many targets for freezing, but
I like killing things. I like removal. So.
I like death.
But that Water Lightning deck that you made, when we were testing beforehand, I played against it. You put down Glaciella firstly and made a crystal, then you played Young Examil, and you had that moment of wait, it doesn't wear off at end of turn, his second ability, and I'm suddenly having to plan out 4 separate scenarios for what you can use that one crystal for, and I'm just oh. So crystals as a resource are quite scary because they float. That's why I do like that about crystals.
I think that's something that I've highly overlooked with that Young Examil is that it's it's a reactive trigger. Like you can use that on stack of things, and I just never saw it as that. I think most of my time I'm thinking, you can make him big immediately. Like make him a big boy that can't be targeted.
That's one thing that you've got to get the hang of with the stack. It's always like you want to hold your nerve and do it last minute, unless you sniff an EX coming. I've lost games in tournaments where I've been like, I'll hold my nerve like a smart boy, and just ran into Elvis like. Fuck this.
It's just wall 7 ultimate shield.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's those moments where you just like, they're Kukulane. Okay, I'm going to not use my ultimate shield just now, just because I want to try something else. I'm going to ultimate shield later. I did this on French.
Oh no!
I did this with French. He Kukulaned my something on board. And I was like, I've got ultimate shield. Shall I use it? No, I'm going to wait and see what else he does. No, fuck.
So clever.
Screwed
so
myself
clever.
over. Yeah, don't do that.
The stack is a cruel mistress.
Wrong choices, wrong timing. Don't do that.
Is Young Xamil a hero?
No, he's a legend.
No, it's a legend.
Oh, that's the legend one. It's the other one that's
Rahal.
a rare or
Young Rahal.
Young Rahal.
He's a rare or a hero. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's a hero.
I was sitting there going, he's a cute little guy. He could be good in limited formats. He's a legend. Never mind.
Yeah.
It reminded me of that Ramsor that fucked up my time in Sam's Cube.
That one. Who is it? Rich
played.
Rich running. Yeah. That did work for him, didn't it?
We'll go into that later. But any particular highlights, I guess, from 2-deck format? I don't think we've not, like, for some of the stuff this podcast, disclaimer, done what we normally do and gone mega deep on every game, because sometimes it's just nice to reminisce rather than write down play-by-play. Was there anything significant or memorable?
I mean, I did remember beating Jono's Icewind Storm
with
with water lightning monsters. That felt good.
I think it was a very tough game for me with the just getting the card, like doing the storm turns in the correct way. And I can see Dan just looking over my shoulder. He was just looking over my shoulder going, do it correct, do it right, don't fuck this up, Jono. And I'm just going, I don't know what I'm looking at.
Your brain's just going...
I was literally like, there's cards in my hand and they're all good, what do I do?
The secret to Icewind or Monowind is just shuffle your hand.
Constantly.
The plays just come to you from friction. That's where they come from.
Whatever comes on top of the... whatever flips on top of your hand is the one that you're playing. Like, yes, that's the one.
Yeah, exactly. If your opponent's playing and on their turn, what you do is you riffle shuffle, and then if you see a chocobo, you cast it.
Exactly. But that was a hard game. It was fun.
I had the
enjoyed
perfect
it.
start for Against the Storm. I just went Lena. Did I do Lena? I don't know. I got my realm out with like. Was it
Immediate,
Moth and Piranha, or was it Moth and Akpalu?
It was Moth and Piranha.
It was Realm and Witch of the Fens on the same turn, wasn't it?
Yeah, something along those lines. It was
so
dirty.
turn 1 Lena, and then turn 2 Realm and Witch of the Fens on the same turn.
Yeah.
So I had 4 or 3 swings.
And it just left me thinking.
Next turn.
It just left me thinking. I've got to Luso this, and I think I Lusoed you 3 times.
Yes, but it doesn't kill
It doesn't kill the Moth Slasher or the Piranha, so that just left me going, well, I have nothing. And even still, with the Moth Slasher, even if I use Lock, for example, and kill it, there's another one just reappearing.
Yeah.
Yes, you've got a bigger boy Lock on your field, but I mean, how would that stack? It wouldn't stack, would it? Because all of Lock's effects would trigger at the same time. I was thinking I could dull and freeze it when the new one enters, but it won't happen.
No.
So I think that was a fun match. I enjoyed that because I think it also just played into the fact that I know how to play Storm.
Yeah.
I've got obviously moments where I'm like, I can't play this, and then I do it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it was just a fun sort of trial again, and that's what I enjoyed mainly about the cube was we're talking about
2-deck format.
2-deck format was that it just trialed the new plays that you can have with these decks.
Yeah. I enjoyed running Mono Fire as well. Just like I've not played that in so long. It's cool to build it and see like what's good right now with this and new Terra in there, new Terra and Phoenix. Like you hit my Terra in the X.
I know.
And I cast a Zidane that turn in your turn.
It hurt me.
Went into your hand.
Twice. You did. Well, I can remember you playing a Phoenix first to then Zidane me earlier, just out of hand anyway.
Yeah.
But then when I saw Terra, I was like, he's doing it again. He's doing it again.
Sam's just having little gremlin noises like tee. Just the old guy.
Zidane, my friend.
Just see him with a goblin hat just stuck on his head like that.
You gotta go and grab those not fire cards when you're playing fire, right?
Yeah. Were you doing the? I know I asked you this on Wednesday. I couldn't remember. Were you doing the whole not playing the goblin package thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was using 5-drop Bahamut. You know, the one that becomes 3 on your turn.
Yes.
I'm like, well, with Terror, this is 1 on my turn. So I had my 10k removed from game summons for 1 CP with Terror. I was like, not bad, and also not cringe at just paying 3 for it. You know, normally.
Yeah.
So I went for that kind of like warrior package plus removal that's worth it when you get. And I went hard on like 2-drop things.
Okay.
Left tier, Zidane.
Yeah.
What else? And Firion.
Jecht, I guess, is quite cool as well with Phoenix because it means you need only 4 characters for him to become free.
Yeah, I was on 2 Jecht as well.
Yeah,
that's a good. That's too. It's just too cheap. It's like. I think it's Mono Fire's version of Ash in a way, except it's a bit more live early game.
Yeah.
But it's not an EX and it's not as powerful late game because it can be if you kill it on the stack, you're just like no.
Plus, and it's damage related as well. So like with Ash, she's power reduction, which is much more powerful.
But he is a fight effect.
Oh, it's a fight effect.
So he gets around.
So,
he gets around like old Legend Windstormer effects. And so did the 3 Bahamuts I was playing. So I wasn't even bothering with Ku Caspel because I have 5 things that can kill Yazukis anyway.
Yeah.
So
no.
So I don't think Mono Fire needs those Ku Caspels anymore.
Yeah, it's good to interest with.
Yeah.
Maybe give that to Kiddy and see what Kiddy thinks from Cactuars, just because he's meant to be like the national fire guru. And he was playing. I think he was playing fire at Huddersfield. I think.
Not to confuse it with Kinney French.
Kiddy.
James Kiddy, not Kinney.
Oh yeah, I forgot that meme. When French was like, who?
Yeah, it's Kinney, right? No, it's not. It's Kiddy.
Poor Frenchie, just like he's listening to his podcast, having a chill time, and then to leave, he's just getting
Jono's attacking.
He's just getting Karen'd at.
I mean, it was a laugh. It's good.
No fair. Yeah.
I need to check FFX to see if Huddersfield is on FFX. It probably is. I just haven't checked. But I need to look at some of those lists for sure. But
Huddersfield was so fun. Wow, yeah.
Shall we jump to that?
I was going to say we're running through today's podcast quite quickly. Is there anything else from 2-deck, or is it kind of like?
I went 2-1. I just about beat you. I lost my first round. I just lost to French right away.
Yeah,
and he was on Mono Water, which defends, and Mono Lightning. I should have tried. I probably could have beat Mono Lightning, but you know. And then last game I was against Johnny, and I just honestly felt like I was just lucky.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't find backups on his Mono Water, so I beat Mono Water with Mono Fire, which you'd think would be a hard matchup, but he didn't find backups. So.
It's funny because the irony is that you got bodied by French on 2 decks, and then I go and beat him with my 2 decks.
Yeah.
But I can remember, the fun thing about the 2 decks is that you don't feel too bad if you go 2-1, in your games, because I've went to 3 games with Kinney and 3 games with you, and I actually have appreciated how long that took. To be on the last game though and have to play Storm, and it's like, oh shit, I've got the pressure of time on my side. I can't do these plays.
I was like, the store's closing, turn 0.
I'm just storming. I've got to
cast 5.
really.
They're trying to throw you out the door.
But yeah,
I think very hard.
Kinney and Dan ended up tie-breaking that, and once again, the meme is that Kinney cooked Dan out of true first place. They were tied for first, but Kinney won on tiebreakers.
Nice.
But I ended up taking a pack out of Kinney's prize support so that they both had the same anyway, because I felt bad. So I gave someone lower down a pack, and Dan was like, no, and I was like, fuck you.
You're a sweetheart, aren't you?
Dan is. I said to Dan, you've got this big, scary man energy. He's like, I'm just a sweet puppy, really, or something along those lines. And I was like, I don't care. This was like when you were going to get the Kukulanes out of the promo box. And I was like, no, Dan, you will have these last 2 promo Kukulanes. He's like, fuck you, no, I won't have them. And we're having this nice off. And you came down and just said, we've got more. It was fine.
It was. I know it probably would have been a different sort of what's it called? Very decided result if it was 4 rounds, because we only had to run the 3 rounds, didn't we, because of time.
Yeah.
So if it was the 4 rounds, I think we would have had a more
it would have been
direct result.
Yeah, it would have been one. It just would have been one of them basically, but it was basically just a lot of mono representation, which I guess is to be expected in 2-deck format because it reduces the multi-diversity.
Yeah.
You get like dual color.
Oh man, yeah, I had to do the same thing as you and take Surges out of my LB so it didn't affect the 2 decks.
I didn't really miss it that much because you still run other 3 CP targets in LB. Because the main reason I would run Surges is yes, if I want a very opportune dull or freeze. But really, it's like, I can dull and freeze, but I also get another 3 CP for Axstar. That's really the only reason I actually play Surges. So I just hit Leo instead.
Very true.
But we can skedaddle on to probably the highlight of FFTCG for me. I don't know, hopefully for you guys this year so far. Huddersfield. Well, we'll see about Winter Cup.
Good. Yeah, Winter Cup's coming around. I can't knock.
But Huddersfield, what event type was that?
Continental Qualifiers.
Continental.
Yeah.
So it's basically like a nationals kind of. I don't know.
Yeah, they scrap the Nats. And
the Materia Cup and the Continentals feel the same, don't they?
Yeah. They have the prize pool is different, and I'm not entirely sure what the overall winner gets in difference. You know what I mean? They both get buys, but. What's it for? Like for euros?
For euros. Yes, for euros.
But they're both the same. So how does that make it any? What separates?
I wish I knew the details.
What separates them? Someone please enlighten.
I don't think anyone knows. But
I think if you pay attention to the things really closely, you would know, right? But I guess we need to sweat and be more competitive.
I only turned up for the promo Yestola. That was it. I came for that.
Yeah, pretty much. I walked away with my 3 by buying them off other people at the event. So, nice. No, I'm just really skillful. I won 3 in one of them.
Phil just changed outfit and somehow got back into the same round.
That's how I went 3-3. I just went against myself for 3 rounds. But we got a cute little Airbnb, which was actually really baller, actually. I was really impressed with it. It was mega central in Huddersfield. It had parking for the whole weekend for £8. Which was it was 13, I think, but still for the whole weekend it was insane, and it was a 5-minute walk to the venue, and we were basically above a German doner kebab / McDonald's. So if I was
directly into McDonald's,
if I were more drunk, I would have had a kebab, but I was too anxious about getting into the flat at midnight when we got back from Cube. But no, that was pretty tasty. So
such a nice event.
It was so good. Yeah, it was ran really well. So we had JFB and I don't know the other chap's name. Callum were judging that event. Jeffy was really sweet, despite having to make rulings against me. Bless him.
Yeah.
He's a sweet guy. He's nice.
It was 6 rounds of Swiss because it was 50. I think it was low 50 players,
54
low 50. 54.
52, 54.
Nice, nice healthy number.
Yeah,
it was really decent, really high power room. I think there were only maybe guessing. This is not being rude, but maybe there were 6-ish people that just were there for funsies that were just playing random stuff, or they were new. It was a really high power room.
Really was.
Yeah, it's funny because I mentioned that to Lewis at the game. I was like, I think this is a really high tier room. There's loads of good players, and he just looked at me and was like, I was like, cool, that's the energy, Lewis.
I mean, he is a really powerful player.
He is himself. So he's looking at competition this is my level.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably his locals in London, right?
Exactly. Right?
So he's
exactly.
Normal.
Yeah. And it was a pretty fun event. And I guess we can just do the normal roundtable of how we did and shit. So
do you want to recap? Do you want to do the full start to finish, or?
I mean, I don't mind. Yeah, I guess if I start this one off because you guys have started other things, I don't know. I'd just be greedy. So I don't know. I'm not going to go over every single game. It's just highlights and how I did.
Yeah.
So actually got the best result I've ever had at any event. So Huddersfield is quite nice because at this event last year that I went to with you, I lost everything but one game. I was on Cat 13. I got somersaulted repeatedly by James on Avalanche, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then I went 3-3 in this, could have been 4-2, which we'll talk about in a second. And I beat my nemesis, which was Kirin. It wasn't Sean on Kirin, but it was Nat on Kirin, but I did like, after learning all the intricacies of that deck, I like shut it down at every point and was like fucking stoked with myself. I was on Warriors, so I was on my Warriors.
Warriors have a good matchup against them.
Yeah, it was just seeing, but it was because it's like a really fine control game. That's what I was really like in the zone. But round 1 anyway, I got Zav and I was absolutely wetting myself mainly because like I think because Sam, you speak quite like highly of Zav in a kind way. You're not like fangirling, but you're like quite you like respect it. He's a really good player and notice his decks and stuff. And I've never before then seen Zav at an event, let alone played against him. So when I was like, I've got Zav, I wasn't fangirling. It was more like someone had just pointed at like a guy with a mace and gone, "That's your opponent." And I'm like, ugh. So I had a like cute word with him to start with, like, "Yeah, Sam's mentioned you a bit, and like this is gonna be really cool, but I'm probably fucked." Like, and he was really chill and like just said, "Have a good game. It's fine. Don't worry about it."
Yeah.
I actually opened really strong, and he opened really badly. Basically, is the summary of it. But I misplayed heavily twice, and like was just nervous. And I managed to stabilize, but due to 2 like major misplays, basically like either not missing triggers, but like missing really key interactions of being able to blow shit up early to stop the Knights board being built.
Yeah.
It was like too late basically once I'd stabilized, and he was just like, he just said to me at the end, he said, "You'll do well today, mate. Don't worry about it. Like, you know, you were nervous and you did pretty well to stabilize. You'll do all right." Don't know whether that was pleasant or whether he saw something. Probably just pleasantries.
I'm sure it was.
Yeah, I think he's got a good eye for
really
how,
nice
how
guy.
someone could play.
Yeah. So he beat me then, that was fine. I was like happy with that. Round 2 was unfortunately like relatively free. I was against I don't know whether they're new or just like they play casually with their partner or whatever it is.
I'm so jealous of this initial 2 games you've had.
It was a lady on Cat 13 aggro, so she essentially like dumps her hand turn 1 to play like I think like Hope and then Lightning, and I'm like, smile, okay, cool, like I know this deck inside out because I played it.
Yeah.
So she went to go and do Lightning Trigger and I just discarded my hand, but I was like, I can win this with like 2 cards. I know this. I was cocky, but I was like, I can win this, and I won that in like 15 minutes. So if that, so
tidy, nice. Well
so
done.
I gave her a few like friendlies afterwards because she didn't know what any of the Warriors did. So she knew them but didn't know them intricately. So I was like, okay, we'll like go with it. And then round 3 was, I don't know his full, Chris from YYT. It wasn't Chris C. It was like, is he David? Wait, I can find out by looking whilst I talk. But he was on like an Earth variant basically. I'm just looking in this chat.
Was he on? Did he?
Here we go. It's David Harley from YYT. He was playing Earth. He said to me he was playing Mono Earth of some description.
Oh yeah.
Quite a tall chap. Quite a big chap.
I know.
And I think he's relatively new. I think like him and Chris C started. They seemed both like, I don't know if they're fresh, but they both were like together going, "This is our first event," kind of thing.
Yeah.
So. And he basically just said that he opened absolutely ass, and to be fair, I think he did, because he's playing Mono Earth and he put down like 2 backups in like 5 turns, and I'm like, where are your cards?
Yeah.
But he also didn't know that Firion could activate himself, so I just sat there. I just sat there with like a Teehee Firion board. He went to do the one establishing play that he had, and I was just like, discard RCL, smile. And I won by it. I was quite happy with just that. I again played it really perfectly when I knew he was starved on resources, continued to starve him and aggro him, so he's having to spend resources to like clear me out, because he Shantotto'd me once, and I was like, cool, that's like all you're getting. I think he Shantotto'd me anyway.
Well, it usually costs most of your resources to do that.
And it's just unfortunate he didn't draw in, because he was also CP starved. He's not going anywhere when I'm building up value.
That's the thing about Warriors. You pay 3 to make Tyvas Mog.
Yeah.
Whereas they pay 7 to clear you out. You're like,
I tell a lie, actually. He was round 4, I think. I'm not sure, but it doesn't matter. But then the other round or whatever, there was a guy, I only know his name was Malin, and he had a buy card. He was the like short, bold guy with the orange like fluorescent jacket on, and he was playing Water Lightning. Mick.
Yeah.
And he's
lovely.
Yeah, he was super nice. I don't recognise him.
He came from Wales, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know. I've never like heard of the chap before, but he was super lovely, and he was super smiley, and I didn't feel as intimidated, even though he had a buy card. But I was like, fuck's sake, buy card winner, great, go me. And I didn't know. I knew Water, I knew Lightning, I knew FF8, but not the combinations. It was very much a learning game, and it lasted like the whole round, and he won. But it was like a damage 6, damage 7 kind of game, and it was just like basically great game overall. But he continually resolved Water, Lightning, the 2-drop that recurs from break zone, and
because
that,
of the Odin and Lightning.
Yeah, and I couldn't really deal with that being on Warriors, so it was like, and I was just happy because it was a deck I'd never played against before.
Dull something and draw each time.
So I believe that. So and then the fifth round was Nat on Kirin. And that was just like my highlight because that game went for the entire round and I basically played pitch perfect. Like she warps Theodore comes in, I Kukulane Theodore so he doesn't get any of his buffs and he's not really a threat to my board. I'm playing Amat at like the perfect time. She probably doesn't see things like the Vayne combination, so fair enough to her not seeing like that stuff. But I'm propping up my board and holding a Miwa in hand and I'm just like not scared. Then late game she does play a Sid Randell and I'm like, my Miwa no longer works, I'm scared. So I had to deal with a late game Sid Randell just to like secure the game. But that was quite nice. That took the whole game. And
Sid's much scarier early game than late game, right? So not too worried.
And then the last round is the only minor controversial one where I was 3-2 at this point, and at the last round of Swiss, I go up against, I don't know the person's name, but they ended up getting knocked out in first round of Top Cut, but they were on Water Lightning, similar to Mix List. I lost the game only due to I got a game lost because of missing my Lena trigger, and the opponent called Judge because they believed I didn't give them enough timing for Firion when I was like Firion combat swing draw, and I was maybe like way too kind and sort of like went, no, I'm sure it'll be fine if I just let the judge resolve it and it's okay, and I felt a bit confronted about it, but I had them on damage 6 and I was on nothing in maybe 10 minutes and I was like, I'm pretty convinced I would have won this. I allowed myself to get grumpy, I've just got game lost and it looked like a game winning situation.
I thought you took it pretty well being there at the time.
I allowed myself to get grumpy and then I was a bit rude to the dude and then I just sort of went back a few minutes later and went, a win's a win, have fun, and did a really meaty trade with him later and that was all good, but so I tried to make peace and he got into Top Cut, but that he was on Water Lightning as well, so I knew that from Mick, which was fine. And played that pretty well, but otherwise it was a really nice first day, just happy with my 3-3. I think I came 30 something, I think, which is better than Winter Cup 100 and something out of 100. So really nice day, and that's my
so nice.
round off. So who wants to go next?
I don't mind. I think you've got quite a long.
I mean, the actual rounds of Swiss, the part of the tournament, were probably my least favourite. I much more enjoyed us playing a bunch of draft. We did JK's Cube twice, and we did Opus 23 draft as well.
That was cool. That was day 2, wasn't it?
Yeah,
that was very fun.
Shall I do my Swiss rounds?
Yeah, you can do.
I round 1 against Mono Water. Obviously, this is no Richard Defence. I think I can't remember if I had Lena and when, but he gets 2 or 3 EXs without me having Lena on his first 3 or 4 damage. And I'm just like, oh, this hurts. But I have the chance to just build slowly, let him hit me. I've got 18 odd EXs, so he'll hit some of mine. I'll come back into the game, and then we'll close it out on a close one, maybe. He just hits none of my EXs, so not to sound grumpy, but I'm pretty grumpy. And then I get paired up into Rob Phillips with his buy card. So that's ultra tilting. I actually take him to damage 6 as well. Played pretty well. He played really well as well. I think we both played our decks as well as we could have done. There's maybe some micro misplays by me, who knows. But then I was like, oh, it's really just God's sake, that's just such a. And I'm kind of getting a bit sick of these random things buys and buy cards, punishing random players for no reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think it's just and there were similar instances in London where, for instance, on the day 2 event, me and a guy got the bye on the first round, and we ended up 3rd with our 2-1, just because we had the bye. And we didn't deserve 3rd, you know what I mean? The bye's a bit too strong and a bit why? You know what I mean? And then I ended up 3-3 for the whole day, and I had some really good games. Later on, I had some wins I didn't deserve. I had some really good games where I played perfectly. Overall, I played well and ended up 3-3, which is
bubble.
poor Nick at the end. He should have beaten me on mono wind, but he was holding these 2 Shinryus for too long. So he was like, he'd virtually won the game on board for turns and turns, but I just like let my hand build up on the off chance. And then I resolved a Tyvis Axstar, 9k dual freeze, and got game on like the last, he had a few cards left in deck. And it's like, he'd played a little Leela before, and he realised at the end of the game he probably should have played one of the Shinryus, and then he'd have just had a good card off it.
Yeah.
But it's tough when you got white cards clogging your hand, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Bless him. That's weird. I beat Sav on his Knights package. Like,
Revenge.
handily. I did misplay mid game where I should have held a Mist Dragon. I should have held a Earth CP. A problem I did in London as well. The misplays. But yeah, generally, like, I wasn't very happy with the result. But like, that's TCGs and tournaments for you. You've got to be philosophical. You've got to take it on the chin.
Well, exactly.
Like, getting grumpy doesn't help you. So just carry on.
I can safely say, from my day one, I had exactly that same mindset. Like, I literally had to just go through the day and take whatever loss I had, because I actually went 2-4. So I actually was down on my luck from most of the day, and it was very much I know what's wrong, but I've got to keep playing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I basically had exactly the same warriors. Like, we're all warriors here, right?
Sam's is the main difference with the Earth.
Sam's is the difference, but you've the main sort of thing that I didn't have within mine was active ways to search out Tyvis. And I think
that was annoying.
Yeah,
I brought in a deck that was weaker than I actually thought until I got halfway through the day and I was speaking to people who are on stronger Warriors decks than I was.
Yeah.
And so I was just basically like, the last bits of the day I've just got to try hard.
Was it like too many Meath, no Larsa, or was it like...
I was on 1 Meath, no Larsa.
Yeah,
so
crazy. You were running Astrologians,
I was basically my main aim for the deck was to fulfill EXs and stuff like that. Was basically stacking X's,
right.
EXs, sorry, and making sure that anti-aggro basically. And to be honest with you, the way that it happened, it worked quite a few times, but because obviously my actual cards on field weren't doing the best they could, because I wasn't getting the active searches and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was making it much more hard for me. But my first round was against good old Johnny Hayes, and that was a sweaty match. First game of day one is the sweatiest game I had.
Yeah.
I got him down to the last two. He draws the last 2 cards in his deck and he wins off of them, which was it was one of those games. So he was on mono water. And I got him down to 6 quite quickly. He got me then slowly with the control, getting me down to 6, and then it was the last 2 cards that beat me. I had Callum over my shoulder going. I was literally sat there for like quite a while with cards in hand on my probably looks like it was going to be my last turn. I was like going, I don't know what to do. I've got to have an out here, and I've just got Callum going, you need to make a play. I was like, oh fuck. I mean, it's all fair play. I was sat there for quite a while going, I'm wasting, it might seem like I'm wasting time, but my brain's going, think. I was going over and over different sort of scenarios.
Did Johnny make top cut? I think he did.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he got knocked out round 1 top cut, so you had a really tough matchup getting a top cut player. Right?
Yeah,
shout out to Johnny. Great.
It was good. I mean, to be fair,
fun dude as well.
He is a great guy, and we genuinely had a good match. I did not feel salty whatsoever because it was just fun, you know. And I think then I had a couple of other guys who I've never actually met before, which was fun to get to know them and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I can't exactly remember their names, unfortunately. And then I had a nice. This is highlights. There's in no particular order in terms of rounds, but Sarah Miles from Gale FFTCG.
Shout out to Sarah.
She was great. Absolutely loved the game that we had, and I think it was probably the highlight because she got so excited about how I beat her.
I don't think an event is complete without Sarah's massive energy.
That's
a really big thing to say, but I vividly remember when you say Sarah, I think about Winter Cup. I remember Sarah. I think about the Huddersfield. I remember that big air.
She's a ball of energy, and I think that's the nice thing. Like, you don't feel bad sitting down. like in front of her. Like, you know, when I say bad, I don't mean bad like that, but you just say, I feel like when you sit in front of her, you know that you can breathe. You're not going to sweat too much, if you know what I mean, because
it's not got that like scary competitive.
Because the rapport is going to be nice. It's going to be fun. It's going to be chilled.
She's really great. Like she encapsulates that like joy for the game that you want to see at tournaments. I really like that. You can
If
chat
I
cubes
if I was a kid and I fell over and grazed my knee, I'd want Sarah to put a plaster on because she'd make it as fun as fuck. Like the worst situation, but she'd make it really fun. Like,
and I mean, that's the thing. Like, she actually saw the actual enjoyment on the turn that she lost. Do you know what I mean? Like, she focused and was like, this is a match I'm going to remember for like the rest of my time playing FFTCG. I was like, wow,
it's very wholesome.
It's like that sort of energy is something I love. And so it was a really fun game. She was on knights and it was super hard, and at the beginning she was aggroing quite quickly, and I missed certain triggers to cancel, and I didn't have cards in hand, but there was just this move that is the move that she loved, and it was basically I was sat and she was ready to swing in for her turn, and it was in my turn. I was like, I'm going to Lena this quickly, Lena special, and get back Axe Star to freeze your things and say no, and also now I can kill this. It was like basically much, I'm killing her things, and then I actually brought out as a down from hand
Nice.
off the Axe Star, and I was just like, this just kind of shut you down for your last turn.
So you did like one of the most horrible toxic things what Night Warriors can do, and she loved you for it.
Exactly. I mean, what can you get? What more can you want walking away from a game going, oh, you've just lifted my ego just a bit more, you know, just by loving the thing that I've done. And I'm just like, half the time people would just look at that and go, oh, good game, cheers, you know.
Yeah.
But when someone actually is fully invested in how someone else performs and puts all their energy into someone else's, you know, it just makes everything feel so much more wholesome.
That's so wholesome, yeah.
You know,
I think those Lena S plays always feel really big brain and satisfying.
And really, you're just resolving the card, the text on the card. Like, get me, I can fucking read.
I have timing. I can do this well.
Look at me, Mum. I've got OpenCP.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly.
It's
good. Weird though, you know, new gamers don't do it, do they?
Yeah.
Like leaving things open. Wow, it's mind blowing.
It's so good, and I think that just makes it. I think that made the day for me, and it wasn't necessarily like I can remember some of the games that I had. I'm not going to go into it because it's long, but the day one was just a nice, chill, talk to people in sort of day. I loved it.
My favourite part of all of Huddersfield was the cube we did afterwards in Spoons.
Shout out Duffy.
Oh my god,
literally, what a legend. The guy brought the entire already made up the new Opus 23 cube draft.
Yeah, the All-Star cube.
That Square released, or Hobby Japan released, or whoever did.
Yeah.
And he just made it up just to bring, and we were like, let's do it. And it was pretty much a slice and dice off, effectively, because there was...
So it was what? You, me, Sarah, Mike, Phil...
Alfie.
And Alfie.
Yeah.
YYTX Slice and Dice. We love
fun.
that.
That's a fanfic I want to read.
Wow.
I'm manifesting it.
It was great. Like,
it was so fun. I was second in that one as well in the pub.
In the pub, yeah.
You ended up with the promo from the next day.
I did,
and I was like, come on, I got second.
Well, he basically was like, because Duff won both.
Yeah.
And the man was kind enough to make to try and get the store to do pricing for the next one.
Yeah.
So he was going, all right, we're going to do this, and like, you owe me this much, you know, owe me a pint or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, sure, sounds good.
He's so nice. It's good.
And so like it was really worth it. And I think I cubed much better. Or drafted, much better the second day. I had a great time.
No, my day one was way better than day two. We'll go on that. But yeah, the cube afterwards, the Duff cube, as I've written down in my notes, was really nice. Although he did, and he quite politely banned 2 CP Firewinds Zidane from that cube, which was
I'm grateful.
That was great. It was like, if anyone draws it, give it to me. I'm binning it.
Yeah. I loved it purely because every time I was like hate drafting cards because James was drafting wind. Every time I saw a wind card, I'd like show Sarah the hand I'd just got, and she'd just be laughing with me about the wind card that I'd pull out of it. And James, I ended up giving James just the most broken deck possible. Anyway, I think I built like
he's a good drafter, that boy.
Yeah, like
he only just beat me as well on the day one. Like I was this close to winning the whole thing, but he had Ruggagene to win.
Oh,
so I was like,
gross.
Yeah.
Oh,
So close.
But-
I'll get you next time, Duff.
But if you're ever at an event,
You lovely guy.
if you're ever at an event and James Duff asks if you want to cube, say yes. Or if you want to know about cubing, ask like Duff or Sam or anyone that knows, and just take a cube with you to an event, because alcohol plus cubing is just fun.
It is, yeah.
I love it.
We bought into the highlight of the other draft that we bought into, the Opus 23 one, was that I got all the good cards.
All the good calls, yeah.
Yeah, you pulled.
I got all the good
What did you
pulls.
pull? Did you pull a full art?
I pulled a full art from Elder, and I pulled a foil Terror,
A Legend Hope.
and well, you gave me the Legend Hope.
I had to. I was like, I just don't. I didn't need the Legend Hope. And I was like, I'm actually trying to take this draft seriously. So I gave you the Legend Hope, and I was like, oh.
I was like, I need this card, but also I did actually play it because I thought I've got a couple of things I could use it for. But yeah, when I pulled the from Elder, I was like, and I was just like, slam that down. I'm keeping that. I don't care what anyone else is building. This is mine.
Yeah.
And I was,
You walked away with like so much money worth of cards.
I did, yeah. I actually traded 3 cards for the promo Cloud from last year's Road to
Yeah.
Road to Celebration.
That's worth at least, what was that, 100?
120, something like that.
That's like a £200 promo easily. Yeah, easily £200 promo.
Well,
Oh,
basically,
you got a favourable trade as well, didn't you?
yeah, Connor was
Connor's really good at
Connor was really, really kind with that sort of trade because it was the Fremelda that I just pulled, which this worked out perfectly because it was the Fremelda I just pulled, a Hooded Man full art, and a Gilgamesh full art, and Phil was just we'd spoken about
No, I wasn't mad. It was the fact that Jono and I had spoken about doing a trade for his Hooded Man, and then Jono turned around to me like after this trade and was like, "Sorry, I've like traded it," and I was like, "Oh shit, okay." I ended up trading it off of Connor anyway, so I inadvertently got the Hooded Man.
and it
I'll
helps.
translate my comment. I am mad.
Oh, you are. Wow. Why are you mad? Wait, what?
Jealousy.
Oh, right, yeah.
Oh.
For the Fremelda pull
Yeah.
as well, actually, because I actually mentioned it to James because he wasn't doing. Was he doing the cube? He wasn't doing.
He didn't.
He didn't draft with us with the Opus 23, did he?
No, he
no.
didn't.
I actually was like showed it. To
He was in
James
Top Cut at that point.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and I showed it to James, and I didn't show it to James. I said I pulled one, and he was like, "Wow, that's the last full art I need." And I was like, "Speak to Connor. He's got it, not me. I've already traded it."
Right.
So you see, I inadvertently helped 2 people in some ways, kind of.
Yeah,
'cause
yeah.
You were able to trade to a really nice guy who actually doesn't mind. Like he said that.
You're just the gift that keeps on giving, Jono.
I know. Jesus hair works.
2
works
reactions
all the way.
to this story. I'm just there like, you bitch.
I hate you. You're great.
Well, I can definitely safely say that the money value of the day was worth it.
You oh my god.
It was actually.
Jammy git.
It was dreadful for me, and I got judge interventioned again. Like, so yeah.
Oh yeah, of
Yeah,
course,
because
on
we
the
were going
draft.
on because fucking like pardon my language, but like several people earlier on in the table were like drafting at speed, and we're all like, there's a clog happening, and I ended up with an extra card in my hand, and we had to work it out, and once we'd worked it out, the judge made me like fix my hand. And I had to like give him a card at random, and it probably fucked me. Although I was trying to, there were 3 people in that draft trying to build Scions.
And
we were all, anyone building Scions was screwed.
I saw your energy just like drain from when the card got pulled from your deck.
Yeah,
from your hand.
Because I realised what the extra card was as well, because I had a card that nobody would draft ever in my hand, which was Death Guys.
Yeah.
Oh right, yeah.
I had a Death Guys in my hand and was like, this was the card that wasn't meant to be in there. Fuck. And I've still got it and now lost the card I drafted.
That sucks, yeah.
So it was like, fuck. And then, yeah. But
That's an oof.
I think I ended up against Bible Man from YYT, Phil Campbell. It was Battle of the Fields. We were fighting for name rights. and he was on Civets. Like, Civets are great in Opus 23 draft.
They really
like,
were. I ran that. Yeah.
Yeah, like, oh my god.
That with flans as well, because I was like, oh, another flan, I'll keep that. Another flan, I'll keep that. And I was just like, I got like 4 flans.
I was nice. I think a lot of us were, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was second essentially, right? Alfie won. He got Ice Lady Lilith off on me. Took one of my forwards, and then I think it got misruled that he could take. He had a Gladiolus that he'd stolen. He took my other one to break them both, but that's not correct.
No,
it's just an invalid target.
That's illegal.
But that's a learning experience for all of us, I suppose.
Yeah. Alfie's deck was cracked in the end, and he was like moaning the entire way through that draft. I've got no backups. It's fucking terrible.
I think he did. He did draw the deck like a god. Like I think he like maybe if you played loads of games, I don't know how well he would have done. But
Yeah, it's very
fair play to Alfie.
Very crystal based. Like opening Vanar is crazy in the deck he played. But yeah, hold on.
I was going to say weirdly it's the one format that I actually feel good at the game, drafting, because I feel like I actually have a good general knowledge of cards.
You're a good drafter,
and I can pull in and reel in sort of like certain synergies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is how I feel good at the game. Let me just play draft my whole time.
Yeah, it's been such a wholesome time in the past few events, hasn't it? Like the Huddersfield kind of started the arc of like, Kinney, you're definitely part of a slice and dice type community. Nottingham Dice Cup gamers.
Yeah.
And then he's just been doing so well. It's a very wholesome arc.
We should definitely depending on how well he does Euros or over the next few months or whatever. We should definitely get him in and have a good chat with him and give him like a breakdown interview.
Cheeky little interview.
Sit him in the hotspot.
Oh, that episode's going to be called "Judge My Opponent Took Me to the Ouchie Step." That is what that step is called.
The ouchie step.
The ouchie step is the best. That is the best thing Kinney says, and I love it. Ouchie step is great. Oh no! And when he cut a deck, he says schnips.
Yeah. You want a schnips?
Schnips. He like does the scissors motion at your deck, and you're like,
I've never seen that. That's
great.
Schnips
is great. Schnips is great. It's like Schweppes, but Schnips.
Talking about wholesome.
But yeah, we before we move on, if you ever see us at an event, we have now got slice and dice little stickers that you can put on your deck box. So all three of us will try to always have stickers on us at bigger events.
Hell yeah.
To put on your on your deck box, on your mum, your dog, like whatever you want to put it on.
Slice and dice your mum.
I feel like this is it's on those dirty magazines like Brazzers where they've got the big star sticker over it's like going to be slice and dice stickers. That's what
cubes.
That's what Ree did. Ree was like, look at me.
Oh yeah, she did. She totally would do that.
If you ever see us at an event, don't be scared to find us and ask for a sticker, but also just like the podcast, just feel free to say, because shout out, because he said it would embarrass him, Chris C from YYT.
Chris Cahoney.
No.
Coho. No, not Coho.
Now you said it right earlier. Now, sorry, Chris. Now Chris will hate us. So
Connigan. That's the one.
That's the one. Chris Connigan.
Well done.
And I had to shout Chris out only because I was really deflated, as everyone would know. Sid Randell molded the living hell out of me this format, and I stopped playing Well 7 despite how much I liked it. And Chris took Well 7 to top cut and was like winning.
Let's go.
And I was like, "You're my hero." And he was like, "Oh, you're in the podcast. You love the podcast. I love the podcast." I was like, "Oh my god!" And I started to say.
Oh, that's sweet.
So shout out to Chris, you're a babe.
And I've been firing those stickers out in London, by the way, when I was at
good. Yeah, it's funny because actually when we got to Huddersfield and we were giving out stickers, some of the YYT don't actually have any of their own. So I was like, oh, I actually have a pile of them too. It's
nice.
like let's spread the love.
Yeah, I said to the Cymru Cactuars used to have stickers, and I said to them that it would be nice if they got their stickers again only, so we could have like the trifecta on the back of everyone's.
That'd be nice. Yeah,
that'd be like really good. So
the trio. Yeah.
So Cactuars, you need to get some stickers again. We'd love to rep some Cactuars merch on our deck boxes.
Get that cactus on.
Or we should all make we should make crystal tokens, like the one you got, that custom one that someone made for you.
Yeah, could do. Yes,
maybe that should be a thing. That should be a thing.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
But we're like over an hour, but I'm not actually too bothered. It's
going.
really fun because we've done one other fun thing. Because if you know anything, it's Sam stims when he's cubing. Like he's a cubing madman, and he spent months making a cube, and we finally played it.
The hyperfocus is real.
Hyperfocus,
and it came to a head.
It did.
The cube. Yeah, I drafted it at my house. Got 8 players in and was ill last minute, and I was like, oh no, we have 8. This is like really difficult thing to have without the actual 8 players.
Yeah.
So I was freaking out, but my partner Ree stepped in. She doesn't generally play, so we had to force her to stay on track. And the draft took a bit longer, but we had our new players from Dice Cup there anyway.
Yeah,
so it was always going to be a slower draft anyway.
Again, the legend that is, or legends that are, Johnny and James came down from Leeds to come to Sam's house to play some Pauper Cube.
Yeah, boys, and they smashed it.
So good. I mean, that's commitment to a group.
Oh no, and they said they'll do it again. I'll update it for Opus 23, and we're going to run it back. We're going to do it again.
The level of commitment from these guys coming down from Leeds is wonderful, and we really appreciate it.
Clearly clearly they're connoisseurs of fun. You know?
Yeah, exactly. We use that, right? We leak fun out of our pores.
Okay.
So that's that. Yeah, I feel like I missed it. I was gutted that I couldn't make it, but it just clashed with a couple of things, and so I got to play which you left me out of the shout out, but when it was just you two. But I played,
Johnny.
I played the Octagon version.
Yeah, you played it online, yeah.
I played it online, and it actually was really good, and
Yeah.
I really thoroughly enjoyed cubing into some just weird sort of text that I never thought would like,
you get to play some boards you'll never see. You get to use cards that everyone's just like, this will never see play. Let's make it see play. Let's make fun formats.
Yes,
and fun pauper cubes. I love the pauper cube.
Yeah, because mine was like the deck that I made was with Opus 21 Galuf. So he's 21067. He's a common, and I basically made like unintentionally made a Kirin deck, and it was
Kirin
like,
at home.
Kirin at home because he's like, look at so many of the top cards of your deck. Is he?
Grab a 2-cost. Yeah.
Grab a 2-cost and play it. So
I don't think he plays it, does he?
Yeah, he plays it. That's why he's a Kirin alike, because he plays it.
Oh, I thought he grabbed it and then you had to play it.
Pretty sure he plays it.
It doesn't matter.
Jono
Anyway.
can look it up.
you focus because I wasn't there.
You know me. I love being a pedant.
But I basically you were like encouraging us the whole way through, like, get this number of backups and then just like start doing stuff. So I basically got the number of backups I needed for like Earth and the other element I was loosely on, which I think was lightning. I basically did the majority of Earth and then just like filled it with other stuff. And then every time I saw a 2CP forward, I was just like taking it. I could take multis and everything, and it was fantastic.
Yeah.
And it upset Alfie a lot round one. That was a good time.
I really liked your deck. Yeah. If it had a little bit more removal sprinkled in it, it would have been perfect.
Yeah, because I was literally running one summon just for an EX because it was the only summon I drafted, and that was the problem.
Yeah.
But, I think that's I've drafted now 3 or 4 times at that point, and that's probably the best draft attempt I've ever had.
Yeah, you were having a great time.
So apart from Ramsar.
So yeah, just
sick decks in there.
Just to confirm that it is reveal top 5, play 1 forward of 2 or less among them, and the other at the bottom of your deck. So
there you go,
Kirin. And all 2. This is cool. All 2 costs or less. Get 2K.
Yep.
Yeah, the buff was really relevant in a few games. So.
Sick. Yeah, that was a nice deck. So our winner was James as well. He drafted Earth Lightning Control-ish.
Yeah.
With quite a few EXs. Me and him played, and he got EX Adremelech the Wrath as like damage 5
lightning EX
because it was a damage 6 format. Killed my last swinger. And then turn the game round from there. That was some great drama.
Is it that 1 CP summon? Lightning summon?
Yeah. And he 9K'd with it, yeah.
But then, like, random shit as well. Johnny did really well with Wind Earth.
Oh, that deck
and like
was
that
so
1
nice.
CP Irwin. Is it 1 CP?
Yeah.
The Irwin that
he was
recurs
screwing
itself.
people with that.
And Ree, your partner, was just like looking at him every minute, like, but I got rid of him and now he's back and he's gone there. And it's like, that's what Irwin does.
Yeah. He's like borderline impossible to play around without like Kukulane or something.
He's kind of like a baby Kadaj.
He's really difficult. Yeah.
What else we see?
He had all the defensive cards. What's the dual horn that comes in and with death touch and back attack?
The water one.
No, the earth guy. He looks like he's like a little hippo guy.
Oh, like Snake. What's his name?
Yeah. Duke Snakeheart.
Duke Snakeheart.
I played Duke Snakeheart, I think.
Duke Snakeheart?
Yeah,
I thought
I remember
Thingy
drafting
had
it, and I was really excited to actually play it.
It's a good card, yeah.
Yeah, well, Duke Snakeheart was really, and it's got a really ugly full art as well, like big like beak mouth.
Yeah.
So I just drafted fire, lightning, wind, removal, ping, good stuff. And I think I had an insane amount. I had the salamander.
Yeah.
And I think because like people didn't necessarily know who were next to me, like how good things like salamander are and stuff.
Yeah.
In that format, like so, I also had the primal. Is he Ramu?
Oh yeah.
And I had both the lightning summons that trigger him. So
Right,
I had like nearly all the board wipes in the room, but
jeez,
which was pretty gross. But fair play to James for getting the threading the needle, getting the top place.
Then we had Alfie on like water crystals, I think basically.
He played very aggro, as he is wont to do.
Yeah.
But I can't remember. He had fire. in there as well. Like he had a bunch of stuff.
The deck didn't quite
Yeah.
work what he was trying to do. That's all I really remember. Is he kind of saw his pieces down, they were a bit sticky, but it didn't. It wasn't built consistently enough.
I really like what Rich did and like made that Crystal Ramsar like ruin people, didn't he?
Yeah, I couldn't physically get over that card. That was like I guess I just scoop. I didn't scoop, but I literally could not beat an infinite 9k. Like,
It's so hard to play around in that format. You need a.
Was that like what opus is that? It's like Fire Ramsar, but it's like
16. Opus 16.
Is it with the War of the Visions artwork? Same as
Yeah.
And you spend a crystal, and he's a double attack.
Yeah, that's right.
And it doesn't wear off. But I think the one thing I took from your cube and from James's cube is that there is, and from like the Opus 23 cube, is that there is definitely like a professional way to draft.
Yeah.
Like where you're like 3, 2, 1 draft, 3, 2, 1 draft.
Yeah.
Like when James did that, I was like, this is so hardcore. I'm not used to this. But
everyone hold your hands up.
But I do think that's pretty integral to like.
Yeah.
I don't say a good draft, but I'd say it's like to just help it.
I think that's good. I think if you've got a mixed range of skills in the room, I prefer a middle ground. Obviously, my Pauper cube was too slow, but we had such new players. But I would say it's a bit hard on some newer players playing like that.
I could imagine Ree would have been really, that
would have been.
Like Ryan. What was Ryan on? Because Ryan was there as well. I can't even.
Ryan.
Because we took pictures of him on stage.
I remember he had water. But yeah, we took pictures of all the decks. It was so fun.
That. Sorry, Ryan, but we'll look it up.
I ended up they were asking about pricing as well, so I took my French full arts that I'd won off Alex Hancock's stream.
Yes.
So I won those, and then I gave them to James, and I think Johnny got a second, maybe.
I don't know if I think James just chosen the first one. I don't think you gave the second one out.
I did, yeah.
Oh, did you? Oh, okay, fair enough. I don't know.
I think Johnny got the second one.
I do like though what Duff did as well to like blend in. Is like Duff gets everyone to sign the card.
Yeah, that's such
everyone
a good
in
idea.
the draft signs a card. Although I did say to Chris C, like because he's got a folder full of like signed. What standard units?
Yeah,
it's a certain
it's
one.
It's a Berserker. Berserk. He's either Berserk or Berserker because he's mass. It's a Berserker, right? Because he's a massive fan of Berserk, the anime.
And I just said this is some form of like really sly signature farming syndicate where like he's got just a binder full of pieces. Like, who shall I be today? I'm going to pay by card, please. I'm now Phil.
So that was really nice because whether he can remember who signed what or whatever, it's just got this massive folder of. It's like choose which one you want. But I think we, as a collective, have been very good on our. I think we're good at Pauper. You know what I mean? Like we've got the Commons Cup. I think
definitely Commons. Yeah.
Bringing formats that make new players much more like feel at home. I suppose.
Yeah, it's so nice having that slower meta because like bringing a new player into a format that has these coin flip decks that we've been talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
And like. You have to play very specifically to try and beat Tyvas, don't you?
Yeah. As much as... Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just saying, as much as we were like waiting on, say, Aaron, the new guy who's coming, and he's starting to pick up the game and learn. I would have hated to sit in front of Sean in front of Chaos. You know what I mean? It's like one of those things. Like it's just like
you want to tailor those first experiences around the things that you think are fun about the game. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fun to throw.
He played my Pauper decks. Because I made 2 Pauper decks for this specific reason. So I've made a mono Earth Pauper and a mono Lightning Pauper, which is basically Dragoons. Yeah. And I've made them. They fit in one deck box, like the Ultra Pro, like 100 plus
the
ones.
wide ones. Yeah.
Like with the diagonal cut, and you can fit 2 single sleeve decks in one box, which is quite nice. I always take it to locals in case somebody new turns up or someone wants like a game off meta or whatever, and they're roughly balanced. Like people reckon the Earth needs tweaking, but the Earth is good if you know how to play it. So basically like a lot of power trading in Earth and stuff like that, and hecatonches and stuff. And he was like trying to play with the pre-built DFF box. List, and it was just too much for him, and like the deck wasn't synergizing in front of him. And so I was like, let's just play this, and he was like, oh, I really like this Dragoon thing, I just like play one and it breaks a thing. I'm like, that's pretty much it. I'm just trying to teach you to pinpoint the value of when to kill a thing. And like the fact, and you don't have to worry about color complexity and stuff.
Because that's kind of how I felt like in terms of where FFTCG product has gone recently in terms of they haven't done any starter decks or dual starter decks for a while.
Yeah.
Not since 19, yeah.
No, and I feel like if they were to bring one out now, I don't think it would be new player friendly like they used to be. I can remember picking up starter decks, and as you're picking up the game, like Opus 3, Opus 5 starter decks were really easy to sort of like learn and get into being a new player. But if you look at especially some of the starter cards that are on the old dual decks, like I thought, I can bring in the Noctis and Arden decks and teach my sons this. But I was like, these cards actually have so many weird interactions and hard sort of lines of play that I can't teach these decks to a very fresh beginner because they have so many... There's intricate sort of like stacks that need to be done on one card. And you're just like, well, like just playing Noctis that searches something, and then when you play that thing, that does that, fight effects. And you're just like, whew, there's a lot already.
Yeah.
And there's doing what you've done and breaking something down into being so simplistic as Pauper makes it so much more accessible. And I think that is where we as product we don't have at this point in our game.
It's just the demo deck, which is like
shit,
super. It's a bit boring.
Yeah, that's like the 3-tiered system that in my head I have if ever a new person walks in. If they're like absolutely never played a card game before and they just like need help, then demo deck easily, and then I let them win or we have a little bit of fun, and then or if they're mildly confident or I can see that they're bored, I'd step them up to like my Pauper, and if then they're fine on my Pauper and still want to keep going, or I notice they've played TCGs before, we go straight to Sam's those decks that you've left in the community box that are both dual colour decks. Like one of them is like Deep Ground.
Yeah, it is a dual deck. Yeah, it's the classic Sephiroth versus Cloud with Cloud Pod.
Oh, are they literally just the precons?
Yeah.
Oh, I never really thought if they were precons, but yeah, those two decks. I think those decks are both relatively friendly for starter products. So
Kadaj in there to make things weird, but
he's like really friendly.
Again, Kadaj, as much as it was like it's Opus 11, and if you wanted to give someone around Opus 11 time a fresh new player these decks, it was still kind of like what? You just lost your.
That was literally gave you that demo.
That was
and you were just like what?
Yeah, right? You read Kadaj. I was like, wow. No. I mean, like an Avalanche precon versus Cat 13 would maybe be balanced enough. I don't know. Like the Opus 19 versus the precon Avalanche.
Yeah.
I'm thinking if that would be.
It's tough to say. As I say, like these decks that we have as precons and are built for the player base at the time. You know, I feel like they keep with the player base of the time, and those most people buy. I mean, people who play the game a lot will buy those decks just for the starter cards because they can filter them out into their constructed standard decks. Whereas if you actually wanted to try and play test them with new players or newer players, I still feel like you'd have to tailor them down to make them more user friendly. I'm going in circles here and repeating myself a bit, but at the same time, it's just one of those feelings I've got. I think need product.
Yeah. Oh, you need like nice friendly starter
I think
decks,
it would be great if they could make product that was for starters, not just demo decks. Because demo decks are super simplistic.
It's like the Pokemon stuff. What's the one in Dice called? It's like My First Pokemon Battle or something, and it's like 2 30-card Pokemon decks. And they're all themed around Charmander, Bulbasaur, and Squirtle. And they're like £10 for like a double pack that you play with family. I literally saw a dad walk in, and best of me had like the Boys Get Sad 2 mental health shirt on, so I already loved this dad. He was great. Walked in with like his like 6-year-old kid, and they like bought that first Pokemon set and played it together, and I was just like sitting there the whole time like, if I had children, this would be me. This is really cute.
Very wholesome.
That's where I feel like the game unfortunately doesn't necessarily fit for the newer players or fresh players. We have to sort of organise that ourselves.
But I think that's okay. I think that's okay.
Absolutely. It's just one of those overhanging thoughts I have.
Yeah. I agree. I think I like that. Us as locals, we have our strats and our levels of decks to accommodate newer levels and different levels.
Definitely.
Exactly.
Maybe we should...
and our different event types as well.
Exactly. I was going to say we should look into our Commons Cup for Opus 23.
Yeah, we need to time that at some point.
Yeah, it'd be nice. I think we've got up
Can have
until...
a juicy prizing.
Probably after
potentially.
Euros.
We've got until November, because that's when the new set comes out.
Well, that's fine, even if... Yeah,
Opus 24.
but we could always limit it. Anyway, this is like an off-stream, off-podcast discussion. But, yeah, Commons Cup needs to be something we've done, because Paul from... McAvoy from Catois mentioned that we need to do that, and actually we enjoy it, so probably
I think so. I think we should just do it anyway and build some decks and then talk about what's cool for the new sets. So
yeah.
Well,
all right. I think we've covered everything, haven't we?
Yeah.
Phil's urging us to get this one wrapped up and done.
Yeah, I'm putting my TO voice on. I'm like, store closing.
Yeah. He's going to be pushing us out his house soon.
Yeah. No, it's been
like go to sleep.
Turn 0 extra time podcast.
Yeah. To be fair, we are. It's like an hour and a half, and it's it's a good podcast or a good time when you don't feel tired, like at the end of it, and you're like, what time is it? Whatever. Who cares?
Yep.
Yeah. The energy is good, and I think it's been a fantastic 10-episode run. I think we've thoroughly enjoyed it.
Sound like we're just finishing it.
Yeah. Bye, guys. Laters. Shit game for babies. Bye.
Hey, I've got to keep my hopes up, you know. So yeah, I think I've actually really appreciated doing this. It's just
me too, man.
nice to sit around the table and actually talk about mundane.
Yeah, it's nice to have some stuff out there.
Other than the mundane life, the stuff, it's nice just to talk about cards. Anyway.
Cool.
Right, I think we're done for this one though, guys. So check
Yeah.
us out in all the normal places and whatevs, and give us some comments on stuff so we've got something to talk about next time. and
Yeah,
what you thought.
definitely. We'll be on YouTube, so drop us comments on YouTube once this goes up as well, because we
Ooh,
like to see them.
You reminded
Come
me.
on.
I had a
You're
thing.
just about to sign off. Go on.
Go on, Sam, what's the thing?
Oh my god, what was it?
Now the thing's gone.
Save it
thing's
for
gone.
next time.
We need to ad-lib until he remembers the thing. Shit.
Oh yeah, I was thinking of running my cube online again. So drop a comment if you want to play it online. That can be anyone in the world. So
Yeah, Discord.
as
Discord
long as
us,
it's like a GMT friendly-ish time.
Yeah, Discord us or drop a comment in YouTube or on our Facebook page.
If
Yeah.
there's demand, I'll run it.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's cool. I'll be
All
there.
right. Cheers. Yeah. Thanks for listening, folks.
Have a good time.
Catch you later.
Bye.
Bye now.